Sorry, I was pushing the button on my clock so I can see what time it is since there was apparently another power outage. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. He already asked me that, Dziak, and I had to disappoint him by telling him how it works, and that it's a single key arpeggio and then tuning a low pass filter knob. So, no. Anyway. Funny thing, just side note, I just posted something on Patreon, and whenever anyone replies to a thing on Patreon, it sends me an email with their first name as the first part of the email. And I got an email from Fridge Cat, and I got an email from Catherine, and I got an email from George, and I got an email from John Romero, and it's like, wait, what now? But no, that was just the John Romero Game Company email that just happened to come in the flurry of all the other ones. Anyway, yeah. It's been a couple of days. So we're going to continue on the CD Robot Dev today, and we're going to see where we can go, because something's gotta, I don't have the ability to start working on normal projects right now, because of data loss stuff. So I have, I got a lot of work to do on that still, and we might even end up streaming from home tomorrow while I work on that. It's currently undecided. So I will see how it goes this afternoon. Because what I am doing is I have every single SSD that I record videos on in a box. Actually, that's not true. I have some more in my bag that I found scattered around here today. I have all of them that I'm going to put in a box, and then I'm going to go through them all one at a time and find out what footage is left behind orphaned on them. Because I record to SATA docks with SATA SSDs, and as I record, I pull out the drive, put it in the machine to import the footage to the server, set it aside, and then I will bring it back to the office and I will wipe the footage the instant I go to record the next video with it. But what can happen is I can take that drive and I can put it back into the pool of drives. That's just like the box, the bucket of SSDs. And sometimes they don't get used, and then the footage can still be on there. So I need to go through and find what I've got. Have I not talked about the data loss on stream? I don't know if I did or not. I think I did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not. I don't know. No? Oh, okay then. Every single video from 2025 is gone. So, yeah. As well as all of my in-progress project videos. And I've been dealing with this for weeks, the fallout of it. So, yeah. The package that was coming last weekend was related to attempting to recover that, and it didn't actually work out. So, yep. That's what happened. So I don't want to go into more details about what happened because it's related to something that I may or may not ever get clearance to talk about. I don't know because it's not entirely up to me due to, I mean, technically I haven't signed anything on paper, but I'm not a person who talks about what should have been a contract, let's just say. Both, Helen Croft. Both. I'll say this. I can explain it somewhat more. All right, let me take a step back. We put together a server on stream with fun fans and fun cooling. I had data for editing videos on that fun server. Okay. Now that server does not have what I'm going to call my front end connection to how I edit videos. I have one set of drives that are RAID 1 that I keep my reused assets on every single video, okay? And then from that, I import a RAID, I think 6 array that is my warm backup drive array that's now full. And then I have the fun server drive array that's also pulled into that, but I only mount that one RAID 1 array location. And I have everything else mounted to the server and then through fstab bind mounted into that file system so that from Samba or NFS, however I remote mount to that main front end file system location, everything else just shows up. Now, what happened is the fun server was accidentally left in RAID 1. And that getting set up was contingent on the 10 gigabit network setup. And I took a long time to get that working. Like, I think that server sat around for months, maybe even, while I bought all the hardware and everything and got it all wired up. So it was RAID 0 and I forgot. And then I set it up with the bind mount, which meant that when I connected to it remotely, the free space shared in for how much storage was left on that array was not shown because bind mounts don't translate that. So when I would remote connect in, dump footage and do stuff or whatever, I had no idea how much free space there was on the import array, and I didn't realize that it was RAID 0 still because I set it up like a long time ago, and then things. So yeah, one of the drives in RAID 0 died. And it took out all the data. And I should have realized that it was RAID 0 and corrected it, but I couldn't. So I will say for the last several months, I have actually known it was RAID 0, but at that point it was too late because I didn't have anywhere else to move the data to. So I had another deal that I was trying to work out that was separate, that would have given me more space to put those files onto, to reprovision that from RAID 0 to RAID 5, or yeah, it probably would have been RAID 5 actually, because it was only, yeah, it would have been RAID 5. So I was hoping that this deal would go through so that I could offload the data, redo that array to be RAID 5, and then move the data back. But no, it didn't end up working out. So, yeah, it was just a cascade of things that, yeah. So anyway, yeah, all video projects, every single thing that was filmed in 2025 has been lost. All currently in progress projects have been lost. The only things I have are what haven't been deleted from my filming SSDs. And now my next objective is to go through and try and copy all the data off of those that I can. And I'll also say that when I grab, I keep wanting to let go and reach for an SSD because they're always all over, but they're all at home or in my laptop bag right now. But every time I go to grab an SSD and I use it, the cameras don't delete the files from the SSD, they format them. Which means, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong because SSDs are weird with how they write data and stuff, but I believe that means that they will start writing data at the front of the drive again. So it's almost impossible that I could actually do data recovery from the drives, because the front of the drive is where it will start writing the data every single time. It's not random all around because the files are not being fragmented and left deleted, and it's not wear leveling or anything. So yeah, live stream the backup. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking I might do tomorrow. Holy moly, hold on here. PhotoRec might find video files. That's what I was saying. I don't know that it can. Wait a minute, hold on here. I don't know that there have ever been gift memberships on the YouTube side, and I have no idea what that even looks like. Hold on a moment here. Jonathan, thank you for the 5 gifted YouTube memberships there. I really appreciate that. I don't have that hooked into my TTS stuff because I've never had that happen before, so I didn't have an API sample. But thank you. I really appreciate that. If the camera issues trim commands, it could wipe empty space in the background. Deck Talk reads YouTube super chats, but I've never had an API sample of gifted membership.
Gifting 5 tier 1 subs. The Tech community, they've gifted a total of 26 in the channel. End of line.
Majeko, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate that. Yeah, so the trim commands, I don't know, Helencroft. I don't know. I will say it does take longer for it to format drives that are bigger than it does shorter ones. So it's doing a little bit more than just deleting the partition table and writing it back. So, yeah. The serve with all the backup and archiving for everyone, I'm assuming. I appreciate that, Jonathan. So on data recovery, okay, with the failed array, it's not possible. Well, for one, it's not possible because using the drives that I have left, already rebuilt a new array, a RAID 5 array, and now I'm writing data over that. But the one drive that died would have had, yeah, it might be Helencroft, it might be. The one drive that failed in such a spectacular way that it would not have been possible to do anything with. The only way it would have been possible to recover the data is to pull the NAND chips off of the PCB and transplant them to another controller or something. And it's just not going to happen. So, yeah. So, yeah. Also, the other thing about recovering data from the camera recording drives. So PhotoRec works by identifying data blocks that represent files. It specifically looks for data blocks that represent like JPEGs, H.264, that kind of stuff. I don't know if it would work for the BRAW files. It might, but yeah, the chances are pretty slim anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm gonna guess Helencroft is right, and the drive is doing a, yeah. Was it in RAID? It was in RAID 0. Yeah. It's a long story that I just told about why it was in RAID 0, but I don't want to go into it again. Yeah, RAID 0 for the dead drives. For the camera drives, they're just one at a time. There's one drive. So, but not one drive, the Microsoft product. No, although actually, if my cameras could record straight to the cloud, even if it was Microsoft OneDrive only, I would probably do that. That'd be pretty sweet. My phone can if I paid Blackmagic, but that I don't really care as much about. I'm not saying anything, Majenko. All right. Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and I will say this. You don't know the whole story, and I know you don't know the whole story. So, actively recovering all the pictures. Shift delete. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, at least that's more possible to do. Anyway, let's do software dev, because I don't have to record anything or generate data for that. So T94XR, the cameras I use, I can go grab one of them. I don't have it on the arm over here, so I can show you this. SD cards are not cheap for me. So I film on, and this sounds like a trap, but I actually care about this. Most people should not film with these cameras, and buying them is a trap for them. I film on Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4Ks, all right? Not 6Ks, 4Ks. And that matters because it's a micro four thirds mount, not Canon, because I'm not looking to get in, I wasn't getting into an existing ecosystem. Anyway, the only two media formats that this supports are Compact Flash Express and SD Express. Those are the PCIe versions of those flash cards, and they are unbelievably expensive. So it also supports USB-C drives. Now, they intended you to use Samsung T5 SSDs, which are okay value, but I found out that you can just get a USB to SATA SSD adapter, plug it in, and it just straight up works. So I record everything to raw SATA drives. It works so much better. SATA drives are extremely robust. They're a great physical size, so you don't lose them or break them or anything. It's just been an absolutely fantastic workflow. So that's how I record. So yeah, it's not really viable for me to go SD cards, because SD Express is, yeah. So, you feel for me? Yeah. Sounds like CF Express to M.2 adapter. That might be a thing. As micro SD Express become popular, I don't think you would have an easy time buying large capacities of micro SD Expresses still, because of Switch 2 buyers trying to take them all. And now, I mean, no one's running AI data centers off of that, but I bet they would try. So, yeah, and it's not micro, it's full size, but it doesn't matter. You just put it in the adapter, but still, yeah. So anyway, yeah, Blackmagic RAW might have a signature you can scan for. So it's kind of weird. It goes into an MOV container. It has a standard 16-bit little endian PCM audio track that goes next to it. But then the BRAW codec is just a separate stream that nothing knows how to use except for Blackmagic software. Or my BRAW decoder software that I wrote myself. I have to use the Blackmagic SDK to do that, so it's still realistically Blackmagic software. So, yeah. Welcome back. Did the stream die for a second or something? It looks... I don't think I lost connection. I don't know. Oh, well. But, yeah, so... That's been what I've been dealing with. I'm trying to just close my thing. So, yep. So for now, we're going to go ahead and just do more software dev, because like I was saying, that does not generate new stuff, and I don't have to record anything for that because I don't have drives that I know are marked free right now. So I'm going to be working through all of that over like the next week. See how that goes. So never dropped. All right. All right, let's go ahead and switch on over CF Express to M.2 adapter. But correct me if I'm wrong, I would either have to buy the little mini ones for like the Steam Deck, or they would just stick out, right? Like, those are the two options. I mean, I could remove the door, but I'm still not really crazy about the little fragile M.2 adapter, like, sticking out. I don't know. But yeah, so I feel like that's still not going to be 2280 with a cable. Oh, that seems so much more fragile than just SATA drives. Like, it's, my recording method is, I think, is flawless. I mean, do you see any problems with just using SATA drives? Because I don't. I really, really like the SATA drive workflow. So, Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and switch on over to the software dev. Boop, button. So cool. I mean, you're still hearing me yak about the SATA drive sled as I do this, but I can walk over and then do stuff. Okay. Now, let me flip this around so I can see it. Okay. So anyway, yeah, that's part of why we've been doing the boring stuff on stream the last couple of weeks, because I've been dealing with that. Hold on, I just want to put the Microsoft Surface away. All right, let me catch everyone up who may not have been here yesterday. We are starting to put into practice some of what I learned with the asynchronous Quart web server development, and trying to figure out some of how the eventual PyDisk RIP workflow will go. So what we are currently doing is connecting to the Caesar camera, which is right here, and we're starting to take photos with it that I'm then going to display on the web page, and then have the user type in a name and click a button to create a photo folder. So the idea is basically, this is just taking pictures and organizing them into folders by name. But that will be a critical step for creating the media sample entries in the real project. So this is a worthwhile element of this project. So depending on how fast your C bandwidth is, a C to M.2 adapter be good, but how fast is that C plug? I mean, the camera can only record so fast. So as long as it can record fast enough for the camera, it doesn't matter. And in general, it records fast enough for the camera. Although I did have one issue recently filming where it kept throwing errors. I don't know what was going on. I just pushed through it, because you can tell you just don't worry about the errors, but I don't know what was going on. So it's one of the reasons why I had to put Decorator 3 stuff on hold. I really don't know what else you think we're going to do with the Decorator 3, because it just works. So there's really not more to do with it. It's sitting there because I don't have anywhere else for it to go, and I got to figure out what I'm booting to move it out of the way. It's not sitting there taunting you because I want to get back to it. I currently have nothing I'm going to do with it. All right. It's not high speed camera. It's high bit rate, high bit depth. It's a lot. Like, I think it's like 262 megabytes per second at maximum quality, but I don't record at maximum quality because I don't want to store 12 terabytes per video. All right. This is not actually live. If I refresh that, it's dead. So let's go ahead and open this and get back to this. Okay. That is not under... Okay. All right. So we last were setting up this, and I believe, just implemented reading config files so that we could set up the camera information so that the software could load and know what camera to connect to. Let me go ahead and turn this camera on, and then switch to the backlights, because front ones just cause reflections. All right. So if you missed what we were doing with this, I guess I can just run the quick demo here, util UVC photo. So if I just run UVC photo really quick here, it's going to use the Caesar camera that is, again, right underneath of the camera view that you are seeing. And it's going to save a new photo here. And you can see I have a jewel case that's up there, but it just took this photo over my work area right now. So what we're going to do is have the software use the UVC photo thing that I wrote to get photos and then show those on the web page. That's our first objective right now. So let's go ahead and work on this. Vamptonius, this code base is not part of it. This concept is part of it. So what will happen is we're going to take the jewel case for the disk, we're going to put it down in front of this camera, and then we're going to type in a name for the media sample and take photos of the disk case before we put the disk in the queue. So this gets us photos of the jewel case, of the CD key, of Banning Desiac, of the UPC. So there's a lot of reasons that we want these photos like this before we load the media sample in. So that's what our objective is right now. This is not the software that will go into that, but it is a step towards that. And a lot of this code will actually just get copy pasted into the CD Robot stuff. All right. So that's the output there. Now, I guess for the moment, we'll just put this in TMP. TMP. Yeah. Or maybe not. I think, excuse me, we want this to be in web static and then like photos or something. Yeah, that's what we want. All right, let's do good old fashioned if OS dir path does not exist, make dir path whatever. Just gonna rip that off from this. And sure dir. Is there like a native Python version of this where like the path just exists even if it doesn't exist? It just makes it, because it feels like this is such a basic idea that it should just exist. All right. If path does not exist, you know, this is relative imported. I think this should just be static photos. Because I think here the path gets reset in a weird Python way. So yeah, I can see there being a headache, matching up which images go with which rip. Yeah. So the idea is instead of like have you select which rip and then take the photos, when you go to type in the initial name of the thing you're going to rip, you will have already taken photos. And then when you submit the rip to the queue, the photos will get moved into the directory that it's going to output the rip into. So you have to take the photos first and then name it, and then it will just move them all over there. So that's the idea. And I hacked this into the existing PyDisk rip, but it was such a hacky, lame way that I did it that I really am not happy with it. That's just one of the things where I'm realizing, yeah, the current PyDisk rip is just unmaintainable. So I know, right, Wet? It's ridiculous that that Python is not simple to do file system manipulation in. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's super annoying. All right, current app config. So we pull the config data out of the web server. So we don't need to pass that as a parameter. That's a boon compared to the existing insane method for PyDisk rip. I think I just had coffee flick up my nose. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Let's just call this path. Path equal that. Blah. Or how about output path? That way I don't accidentally clobber any globals or anything. Out path works too, because I don't feel like retyping put. All right. Out path. Yeah. F. Out path. / boom. Perfect. Okay. Now, that will go there, and then this should actually go here. Oh wait, no, it does. We'll figure that out later. I don't really care. This is just for the demo. Okay. So to take a photo, this will be the function that wraps this. Sorry, Coffee, when you really gotta go fast, yeah. Okay, so we get the URI, all right, and we condense that down to just get the UVC ID. We pull the config from the current, should I just call it Flask? It's driving me nuts trying to remember to call it Quart, and then even harder to remember to not call it Quark. So from Flask, we pull the current config, and we check. I don't know how expensive this call is, if I should cache this locally or not, but whatever. We go through each camera, go for the UVC, and then if we match the UVC, we get the photo, which just saves it, and then we can exit. We do have to send a return. So I guess here, return cheese. Okay. And then if not, return 404 camera not found. That's my extremely official HTTP 404 return right there. Yep, that's definitely the standard. Okay. Now, this is our take photo route function. Here, we go through every camera in the camera config. Or first we check if there are cameras in the camera config, and then we go through each one and we add a route rule to the blueprint based on this. This will be, actually it'll just be exactly the same as this. And each one points to the same endpoint. Man, I really hope Flask allows me to do that. I hope it doesn't detect whether or not you're telling it to go to the same endpoint. Awesome. I got an email yesterday while we were streaming from someone who was having problems with one of their Hydro Thunders. And I responded back to them this morning with a bunch of diagnostic steps they could do. And it just turned out one of their sticks of RAM was bad. So pretty easy fix for them, thankfully. Because there are a lot of horrible things that could go wrong in one of these. All right. There's another subwoofer moron out there. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes, I think this is good, as long as Flask doesn't throw a fit over that. Okay. DB photo, we are extending the database class. Okay, so, I think it's time we do something different with this. So I'm going to, in here, add file, photo.sql. Alrighty. And then we're going to open this up, and then I'm going to copy one of these. Boom. And I'm going to just copy the comments. I didn't remember you can put comments in an SQL file. It's kind of cool. All right, we're gonna have the database initialization happen in the subclass, I think, and then there will be a different. I mean, it's the same database, yes, but this will manage its own tables within the database. So if a guy or neighbors fighting in the middle of the night, keeping a whole street up. Well, it's 10 a.m. here. So I don't think that it's that one. All right, just have a auto inc primary key. Let's go back to this, grab all of that. Alrighty, so we definitely want timestamp. All right, we need an action name, which we're just gonna go ahead and do as text. And then name will also be text. What did I do? That's wrong. Boom. I was about to call the cops last night. I don't blame you. There's a limit to what is acceptable, even for just having fun. Mm. 27 in the morning, you should be sleeping really? Oh, gosh. I won't blame you for dipping out. All right. I bet I could predict what vehicle it is out there that's making all of this sound, too. I don't want to describe it, but I'm really pretty sure I know which one it is. And I'm sure Dziak would have a fun description of what it is. Two-step the Hayabusa in the parking lot. I mean, it's your head gaskets you're going to blow. One where the windows are vibrating. I was talking more make and model. All right. Is that everything we need? I think it is. If table, drop table if exists, photo, blah, blah. Okay, that works. All right. Now, I'm missing something here. Am I setting the... Good Lord, it's so loud. I have to go look. I'm sorry. Of course, it stopped as soon as I went out there. I can actually hear a few notes of it. Yeah, it's so loud. Wish it were you. All right. This is it. Okay, so I need to specify the schema file, and then we'll just leave the database file. Although that brings up an interesting point. The path is not relative. So this needs to be web static photos. Because in this one and all the other ones, we import the DB file and it imports the db.db file from the path of execution, not the path relative to the import. So for fucking date and rims. I can't tell you. Base seeking missile. Actually, you know what would be good? One of those parabolic receivers, but that's like just a thing. But can you? Yeah, actually, I know you can do this. One of the Dziak might actually know about this. In our area, there is the Arizona Science Center, and in their outdoor area, they have 2 parabolic acoustic, I don't know what you would call it, transceivers. They're literally just domes, all right? But you can whisper into one and it forms and like beam formings the audio over to the other one, and it's like 20 feet away. So you can hear each other really easily when you're directly in the path of those. It would be fun to have one of those that just looks for like low frequencies and then just beams it back. So I have an array microphone looking for lots of like 30 hertz sounds and then just point directly at it. That thing in Grand Central Station, New York City. I do not know about whatever that is. I can see in a place like that where they might have speakers that do noise canceling, but I don't know. Has something like that. You can speak into the hole on one side, person on the other side. Oh, and hear it on the other. Oh, okay. Maybe. I don't know. Has whispering corners. Oh, all right. I'm not aware of that. Someone from my living room say hi. I mean, yeah, you're far enough away. I don't care about that. And you're in your house, fine, whatever. You know, being a rolling menace is quite a different thing. All right, well, that's probably very similar to what I was talking about with our local science center, which it seems like DZAC's probably never been to. That's not a jab or anything, by the way. I'm just... okay, I think that's good. Okay, so, database. We need to connect at least once, and then it can be disconnected. But also I need to specify the schema everywhere. So I guess I just do web or schema equal web photos. So photo, db demo, but it's not db demo, it's db photo. Excuse me. db photo schema equals photo.sql, but it's web photo.sql. Okay, that'll work. I'm gonna hold on to that one for now, and then just do this. Okay, that all tracks for now. Yeah, okay. Wait, why am I doing database stuff? Add action, insert. Okay, that's why. Okay. We'll ignore the database stuff for the moment. And I had the opportunity to go to the Science Center to go to the one with dinosaurs. You mean the gas station? I don't think that quite counts. Also, genuine question for you guys. Do you prefer the higher quality video or less stream delay? Because it's pretty bad stream delay. But there doesn't seem to be anything I can do about it. Maybe you thought the Sinclair counted. It might be the FFmpeg relay that is specifically so delayed. So maybe I could try and set up Nginx as a relay, and that might be better. I don't know. Actually, you know, it'd be interesting. I should try and set up the Nginx relay on less delay wins over better quality. Higher quality for sure. Oh, man. Stream delay honestly isn't that bad either, and I'm in Australia. All right. The internet has spoken. Portizo gets it. Realize Nginx is Nginx and not Nginx. Nginx sounds like a Crash Bandicoot character. Now I want to listen to the Crash Bandicoot soundtracks. On a Find X3. I have no idea what that is. Oh man, it'd be so nice to not have... Oh, it's a phone. Okay. Well, in that case, quality doesn't matter to you. Twitch nerd stats say about 3 seconds, not too bad. That's completely different. So, NeoDragon, you get that status from what my server is sending Twitch, but I send my video from the office to my server at home, and the delay is happening there. That's really bad. So you can go ahead and type something into chat and then see how long it takes to show up on stream. That is the... Well, actually, that's not even the real chat delay. I just realized you guys have no way of measuring the chat delay. Here, hold on. Let me put chat actually on stream here at the office, and then you can see how bad it really is. All right. So if you chat right now while this is up, down there, you'll be able to see new messages appear on top. All right. You'll be able to see how bad the chat delay really is. About 6 seconds. It's not that bad. Okay, maybe it's not horrible then. 5 or 6 seconds. That's all right. API pull over API test once. Yeah, that was 12 seconds for me. I need to refresh. Right now it's not horrible. All right. Well, yeah, test wins. All right, then we'll keep it for right now, because if that's not as bad as I thought it was. I thought it was more like 20 seconds at this point. I think when I'm trying to like have a conversation, it becomes worse because then it starts to back up. So you'll say something and then I'll read it, and then it's 10 seconds or 5 seconds for that to get there. And then you'll chat something, and then it's 5 seconds, and then I see it, and then it gets sent back. Yeah, so I don't, All right. Well, all right. Well, we'll just go with that for now then. Practice for when you go to the moon. I think that one's a little longer. I don't remember how many seconds that is. I just remember it's 7 minutes from the sun. All right. It's back. I'm going to go look. I am not sure where it even is. I think it is so loud that it is audible from like a different street than I can even see where I am. Anyway, all right, I'm just gonna ignore it for now. It's just, it is distractingly loud. All right, 7-second delay to moon. That's kind of funny if it's really 7 seconds to the moon and 7 minutes to the sun. All right. It was kind of nice walking outside. The temperature's really pleasant. All right, let's glob all files, excuse me, in this path if they exist, and then build the web display. And then we'll just make, we'll be able to take a photo at the end point of stuff. So we don't need this. No, we don't need that. Parks radio telescope down under. Is that? I'm not familiar with that one offhand. Is that a single unit or an array? These provide moon landing video to the world. Better yet, deck PDP-9 doing calculations for Trek spacecraft. I will never forgive our planet for letting Arecibo collapse. That was ridiculous. Sam O'Neill movie, The Dish. I gotta be real. There's only 2 movies that I know of that have giant satellite dishes. Contact, and anyone else want to guess what the other one is? I will tell you it is not for space. Although it's for space, but it's not for communicating with humans in space. Goldeneye, never seen it. For England James, don't know. A Single Big Dish, there's literally a film called The Dish. Yeah, I've never seen that. That sounds like it should be a movie about a skateboarder who buys like an old radio observatory. And then they just turn it into a giant half pipe. Never seen Goldeneye? I don't believe I have. What's funny is I probably own it on Laserdisc, but I haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure I own it on Laserdisc, but no, I have not. I don't remember it. Not a Bond fan? It's fine. You're I prefer my action heroes drive cool cars, but all James Bond drives is things that just look like a Ford Fiesta, but longer. Like, you know, what's the point? Well, that is what made me aware that Arecibo was even a thing. Oh, well, if that was Arecibo, then it's not Arecibo. I'll tell you that. It's not in the movie. Shall be just a little sheltered. I will tell you something else. I have been to possibly the location that one of the scenes was filmed at for the movie, and it would have been in California. And I will also say this. There is nerd music in the movie that you would only know if you were a giant nerd. But it is also relevant to the plot of the movie. He drives a BMW in that movie. Same thing. They just put a little bit in there, pretending it's like a 63 Corvette, but it's got it in the front. I will say that the hint that I've been to the location, but it's in California, is completely worthless because you guys would have no idea. I'll just say it is a location that I could have gone. It's not the satellite location. It is completely unrelated. Man, this is a really terrible hint. You know what? Just forget that hint. The nerd music hint is the better part. The nerd music hint is at the location that I was able to go to. Weird Al. It is not related in any way to Weird Al. But if Weird Al had a cameo in this movie, it would have been incredibly on brand. To the point where, while I don't think Weird Al had a cameo in it, if I somehow missed it, I would not be surprised. Although I don't think Weird Al was doing as many cameos then as he is now, so it's probably not very likely. Okay, we're gonna glob files. I'm gonna keep dropping hints about this movie until you guys get it. Let's see. Google says Angry Video Game Nerd the movie. Google's not even close. Giant dish is important to the movie. Has nerd music as a reference, I will add. I'm trying to think of another hint that I can give. Well, Weird Al being in the movie would not have surprised me. It is very topical for a Weird Al thing. What was I going to look up over here? Oh, I was going to look up Python glob, but you know what? I should just use my existing code base for that. Oh, the only next hint I can give that I can think of right now is too good. Like, it's too strong of a hint, I think. But maybe not, and maybe I'm just old. I don't know. I feel like if I give this hint, Desiac at least will, boom, get it. Stay tuned. Never heard of it. It's not that. I'm interested in what that might be. Stay tuned movie. Animated sequence by Chuck Jones. Stars John Ritter, Eugene Levy, sucked into television world. Dude, what, this movie sounds great. It must suck. Okay, if you like Stay Tuned, you should watch Monkey Bones. .47 approval on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I had a feeling this premise sounds too awesome. Now I want to see this. I'm pinning this tab. I want to come back to this. I want to see this. That sounds like exactly my kind of movie. Airheads, no. It's not The Dish. That's the one that people that brought up this conversation, because I'd never heard of that. Wait, is Dave Foley in it? I don't see his name here. Appears in. Get in here, Ben. I don't have a reason to drag you into this. Contact, that was the other movie. What movies have I watched recently? I finally watched Tron Ares, but I don't feel that it's fair to say anything or talk further about it because it's still too topical to have a conversation about for spoilers. And Desiac still hasn't guessed the movie. Fine, I'll give you the strong hint, okay? Larry is not in it. Now, I really want to watch Stay Tuned now, though. That sounds pretty sweet. I'm also really disappointed that nobody chimed in saying that they've seen Monkey Bones and it's really good. You guys need to go watch Monkey Bones. Boom. I knew that would get it for Desiak. Yep. I knew it. Dave Foley's in Monkey Bone. Oh, wait a minute. Does he... Oh, I almost remember his character now that you say that. Yeah, Cable Guy's great. Now I want to rewatch that too now. But yeah, that's the only other one with the dish that a dish that I can think of offhand that was plot critical. Hold on, Prudence. I don't see your question. Oh, wait, what movies have I watched recently? Tron Ares. That I answered, but I said that it's too soon to talk more about that movie. It's not fair to other people. Okay, let's do Wave. Let's look at this, because Glob is almost certainly, yeah, in this. Then when from Glob, import Glob. No, just import Glob. Good. Nothing stupid. Excuse me. I think it was too long of a walk for the Cable Guy reference. I went to medieval times, by the way. And the nerd song is the Star Trek battle music from the Vulcan episode. Nope, not Gorn. Nope. It's from the episode where Spock has to go to his home planet. What am I working on? I am working on my software. I'm working on being distracted. Amok time. Is that the name of the episode? I'm not 100% sure about that. Said California and nerds. Obviously, the only filming location that matters is water treatment facility. It's featured in the great movie Biodome. Excuse me. But Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was filmed at the Gulfland where I bought my Hydro Thunders. So I don't think that that's the only location that matters here. Star Trek is not nerd music. I think you might be too deep. It is Amok time? Okay. It's not Arch. No, this is K-Ubuntu. I am most likely going to abandon Ubuntu when I switch to my next upgrade. I really don't want to use Arch. We have medieval times at home only recently. It's pretty darn new. All right. Riddle me this. Arch versus Debian. Okay. How out of date is Debian typically compared to Arch? Because here's one element that I am considering with the eventual distro change. I'm really tired of extremely... All right, then maybe Debian's not the answer. Oh, God, I don't want it to be Arch. Ugh. I'm really tired of grabbing things like Super Mario 64 Recomp and then not being able to actually compile it because they keep using stuff that's too new. And I can't download the like versions of CMake or whatever that they used. So you can only get so far by just changing the version number requirement. So yeah. I find it more annoying that people just keep using the like hard lock dependencies for super modern tools. But on the other hand, I too used F strings with double quotes here, which locks out specifically Matrox Millennium there, thinking about giving KDE Neon a go with their current distro. So I don't know. Got medieval times across from the White Castle. So I know there is an actual medieval times here in Phoenix now, Desiac. I know that. I don't know if you know that. I assume you do. So I don't know what you're talking about across from the White Castle. But if you want to talk about weird places we've got here, you should try Oregon Stop Pizza. Oh my God. The pizza sucks, but the Oregon is amazing. See, Debian will never do a version jump on a package outside of a major new release, approximately every 2 years. Okay, that's probably Debian out then. That sucks. Although that's still better than Ubuntu, which is why I'm going to ditch Ubuntu, because I'm tired of the 4-year LTS release cycle. It's too much. Fedor's been good to me in terms of being more up-to-date Debian without the nonsense of Arch. That doesn't really quite solve my whole problem, though, of I really don't want to leave a Debian-based distro. Install Debian testing, perhaps more up-to-date packages. All right. Thinking of Oregon Stop Pizza this entire time. You're talking about many of them. You're talking about many of them times. Yeah, Oregon Stop Pizza is fantastic. Okay, it's in Scottsdale across from White Castle. I did not know that. That is amazing. Yeah. I love that. It is across from a White Castle. That's awesome. I had no idea. Oh my God. So now I get why we have medieval times at home, because White Castle is 100% medieval times at home. Oh my gosh. Man. So MB, you will never see me make a video that talks about different Linux distributions, because that's not the message that I want to portray about Linux, as far as me using it in a public setting. I use Kubuntu and have used Kubuntu for about... They killed off Unity in 2013. So 12 years I've used Kubuntu, and for 15 years I've used Ubuntu. And I would always recommend to people that they start with Ubuntu, because it is extremely well supported. It's very well documented. There's a lot of community support, and it is relatively easy to use. And I don't want people to just go to Pop! OS, Cinnamon, whatever nonsense, Linux Mint, just because it's, you know, Ubuntu, but cooler. No, just use Ubuntu. But anyway, yeah. Casey, look for something to consider. OpenSUSE might be a good fit for you. Has snapshots out of the box. So snapshots don't mean anything to me. Slow, low, roll release monthly updates. I don't know. I just like, that's going a completely different direction. So, looks like you were distracted. Yes. Yeah, this is why this is going to take forever to write this software. It's difficult to write software where you get a bunch of people throwing random nonsense at you, but it's also more fun that way. Needed mushrooms for dinner. Ooh. You guys are going out again? All right. Get some nice portobellos. Unix plus Mac OS. Oh, best Unix is Mac OS plus Nix. I mean, it's the most commercially successful. But no, it's not the best Nix. So, you never use Linux or Windows. No, I do not use Windows other than vintage Windows. The only Windows you will see me run are 20 years old or more. Or I have something that desperately requires a modern Windows for some hardware reason. Kind of like Unity. Unity was fine. People hated it for no good reason. All right. All caught up on chat here now. Let's go ahead and do a thing. Okay, so we're ignoring this. We're in the page index. That's what we're doing. Okay, so this glob any files that may exist in outpath. And we'll go ahead and do JPEG. I think that's what we're saving them as, JPG. Okay. Want to keep X11, get Wayland nonsense out of here. I don't know. I would prefer it not change, but I don't have strong opinions about it as long as all the software works. Okay, this isn't Flax, this is Photos. And that's not the only thing we're going to pass. So I'm going to do data, photos, data equals, there we go. And then we'll pass data, and later we'll add camera, so there's a button you can click to like actually take a picture. All right. Would this blow up if I ran it right now? Yes, because photo page is not set up. Let's look at that. Templates, photo, page. Okay, we need a for loop list thing doodad. For row in data, do end for perfect. Okay. Page. And then here will be H2 photos. I can spell photos. And then paste. And then I guess the actual HTML formatting doesn't matter for right now. Okay, for row in data, photos. We will do, which I think it's just, yeah, this would just be the path. So we'll do an image source. So image, and then we're just going to go ahead and not have any of this other nonsense. I don't care about the last loop. Image. I think this is one of them weird tags that just ends like that. Source equal. Glob keeps the path. So I need that in there. Okay, I think this will work. Let's run it and find out. All right. Let's see if it explodes. Demo. It did not explode yet. Do I have another Firefox window over here? I do. Okay, let's just refresh that. Okay. And then photo. Not found. Is it plural? No, it's not even imported. It just ends itself because HTML is dumb. Oh, you're, it would, I think you mean more if I just did this, right? Yeah, it would make sense, yeah. I could write XHTML if you want. I try to write HTML as if it was XHTML, but I also don't want to set it to XHTML for when I end up doing something stupid and I don't want it to yell at me. But I try to. Okay, let's import the stuff. Web, and here, and photo, and try this again. And now it explodes. There we go. Line 56, there's a closing doodad, does not match another doodad. Okay, line 56. That's way up there. Okay, So there's a thing here, and then there's some other stuff down here, and it doesn't like any of it. We got this one. That one's probably wrong. I get rid of that, move this here, and then this here. Nope, 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 nope. I'm using my lame multi-monitor technique. That's still bad. No app in context. Okay, current app config. Get current. Uh-oh. Oh, that was maybe bad. I'll figure out how bad that was later. I should move this. It's a much better spot. I accidentally kicked that monitor because something was falling. I was trying to put my foot under it so it didn't fall all the way. That was the worst choice I could make. That sounded expensive. I don't think so. The monitor is from like 2009. Okay. If cameras in current app config, current object, not within an app context. Uh-oh. Is it a tube monitor? No, it's a flat panel. It's a giant HP one. It's probably 1920 by 1200. HP used to make some pretty sweet monitors, and it's one of those. And I want to switch it out. But it's like a 32-inch or something ridiculous like that. And I don't think my monitor arms can hold it up, so I haven't figured out how I want to do it yet. Flat. Remdog, how about I blow your mind? And I'm willing to talk about this because no one knows anything about it. And if I could get anyone to find me more information about this, I would be so happy. Okay, hold on. I gotta flip through my issues of Popular Science really quick because I need to see the cover because it's impossible to find a reference to this online. But I would love to be proven wrong. So much I want to be proven wrong. Man, Popular Science, like airplanes are going to kill people. And I don't mean they're like warplanes. I just mean they're like little tiny planes. That one's pretty cool, but I already know exactly what that is because I own it. No one owns this one. I bet the original company doesn't even own this thing that I'm trying to talk about. Okay, hold on. We're talking about the Thunderbird, the boring one that just looks like any other sedan. It's, you know, who cares? Okay. That one's the, I forget exactly what that is. I think it's the car from the Wraith. I think it's a Dodge. This one, they got an NSX on the cover. I know exactly what the cover is going to look like, but I don't know what year it's from, or here it is. Here we go. All right. Rolls-Royce makes the Wraith. No, I mean the movie with Charlie Sheen. Okay. You say flat screens can have tubes. I give you the Panasonic hang-on wall flat screen television. All right. And this thing, come on. Where is it? They talk about it somewhere. Do they say what page it is? They might under the sticker from the person who bought the magazine. One moment. Because I think there is a small graphic in here that shows how it works. Because it's insane. It's made by Panasonic. If you want to look this up, this is Popular Science, July 1985. Okay, where is it? Come on. Wasn't the Wraith a TV series too? That I don't know about. Are you sure you're not thinking of the Phantom? Oh my gosh, it's way in the back. Or they're not even really going to talk about it. I'm not sure. Come on, where is it? Talking about carbon nanotubes. Like, literally, just like carbon, nano. Phantom is also a Rolls Royce. Okay, come on, where is this? All right, come on, where is it? I love that I'm going to find this, and then I'm going to show you through a stupid webcam, because I don't have the other thing set up. All right, hold on. Pretty sure they talk more. Nope, that's it. This is the one thing here, right? Okay. So, yeah, the graphic kind of sucks. It's page 64 of July 85. But it is a CRT that works like a VFD to show a color image using deflection grids in line. So it is a color flat CRT. Although maybe ray tube part is not quite accurate. It's more like a color VFD, but well, no, it says it has an electron beam. I don't know how it works. But they claim it has an electron beam. So work with light guns? Well, first they would have had to have ever made more than one. Because as far as I know, they never made more than one. So yeah, if anyone can find more information on that thing, I would be interested. And it's not a Popular Science magazine if it doesn't have cigarette ads on the back. Anyway, there's your annual bite break. And why bite breaks are dead, because that was so long for so little payoff. Okay. You enjoyed it? All right. Here's the problem we've got. The app has not been run at this point. So there is no context for it for current app to retrieve. So the app needs to be running at the point this is called. Which is a problem. I don't know how to handle this. Can we add routes while it's running? And then just initialize them on the first load? Let's find out. Camera routes equal false if camera routes, and if not camera routes and camera false, whatever. Okay, sure. Yeah, let's find out. Does that run? That runs. Okay, let's see if it is happy about running, though. Does not appear to be. Okay. technically a SIG ad on the front too. That's a McLaren F1 I saw for 2 frames. I don't know. I didn't notice that. I don't know that there was a McLaren F1 on there because I think it was just the CRT flat panel thing, but maybe I missed something else because I was focused on the monitor. All right. None cameras configured. Okay, let's figure out what the camera configuration looks like. Actually, I probably just need to create a config file. Create new file. Actually, let's just paste. It was what was displayed on the CRT. Oh, see, I absolutely didn't even pay attention to that at all. I'm going to guess it was not a McLaren F1 and that it was an Indy car, but that's complete speculation. You can just look it up, July 1985, Popular Science, if you want to. Config.json. Darn, it doesn't know what debug or, it doesn't matter. Words are dumb. Okay. Now we launch it with -c config.json. OS path args OS is not defined. I didn't import it, you needy software. Fine. Import sys OS. JSON is not JSON. I know there's some kind of sloppy magic Python importing that you can do, where you can basically like wrap the entire software, and if it tries to access something and it doesn't exist, it tries to import it as a module, and then if that doesn't exist, it goes. I think that I shouldn't ever use that because that sounds like it's too powerful and I'm just going to screw everything up. All right, F5. What's the next problem? Can only concatenate string, not int. You stupid, needy software. It is Marvel or McLaren. Sponsor stickers are removed. Ah, okay. Oh! Okay. I think you'll understand my problem. Yes. Yeah. So it's like, I really don't think it's a McLaren F1, but if it is an F1 McLaren, that makes more sense. All right, we're on the same page now. Yes, I will concur based on what I remember seeing. That's part of why I said I think it's an Indy car, but yeah, that's fine. Okay, we're on the same page. All right, stupid Python string. You know what I could do? I could just F. Probably should have just done this anyway. All right, what's your next problem? Self is not defined. Fair. It's also no self use. Oh, now that one actually does exist. F5, okay. Method add URL rule can no longer be called in the blueprint photos. It's already been registered at least once. The setup method. Hold on. Wait, what? No longer be called blueprint photo. It has already been registered at least once. Any changes will not be applied consistently. Make sure all imports, decorators, functions, whatever, done before registering it. Oh, we're screwed. So Robert, while I will agree F strings are annoying, They sure beat having to cast everything before you can concatenate it. And for that, I love them. All right. I think what we have to do def dynamic routes and then this routes how about we just pass app add rule. Okay, so what we do is now after we import this, then app equals photo dot dynamic routes app. I think that'll do it. Error, not within app context. That's, oh, I forgot to use the app config. Key error config. Can unregister the whole app and register it again with changes. Just thinking out loud. I don't think so. By register, they mean we run it. So we do app run here or app run task there. At that point, it becomes read only. We can't stop it and then reload it. Especially in this function, because this function is an action that it is running. So that's definitely not possible. Okay. Key error config. We have not passed config there. So I guess this kind of sucks. Okay. Def build app return app okay, that still doesn't work because config hasn't been. No, then we pass config here. Okay, build app. This, but this has to go here. Boom. Config data equal none. Build app, config data. Boom. Okay, I think that works. No. None type object has no attribute route. But app app.config. What? Web task app build dot app route none type. Why is it a none type? It's right here. Dynamic routes does return app. Dynamic outs. See, it returns app. Non-type object. That's not return. Okay, now it doesn't work again. Wait, how does it work through all of that? Return app. Oh, hold on. That's a bad indent. Boom. Okay. F5. Of course, it still doesn't work. OS is not defined. Dude, I want to scream. OS should be like standard always imported. Okay. Hold on. You know what? Just JSON, OS, sys. Indent hurt Python feelings. Python hurts my feelings. F5. Oh my gosh, it actually worked. Holy moly. Okay. Now, we can do camera 0 from here, I believe. And we should be able to get this to take a photo. So, camera 0. $404. App add rule. Oh, it's not being added to the blueprint. That's fine. Hold on. No, we can do it this way. App register blueprint. Let's do. Actually, with the app current context work there? I don't know. If I do BP, add route, return BP. Okay. And then we do photo BP. And then we do this. But not do that app. Dynamic routes. I think that will work. Court has no object, attribute, register, blueprint, return, self, chat BP, hold on, BP. Why would that not be allowed? Python deserves to have his feeling hurt sometimes, yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me look at this again. We pass app. We use the config. We add rules to blueprint, which is up here somewhere, right there. And then we return it. But apparently that makes it all cranky pants. And we can't register it if we return it. So maybe app blueprint, and then it's photo blueprint. And then we do it this way. DBP. And then it works. Missing one. No, it's not. Okay. F5. Error. Camera 0, 500. Date time. Okay. Making progress. Date time has no attribute now. It's from datetime, import datetime, isn't it? From datetime, import datetime. Some stupid like that, because they just gotta have the thing in the thing. Key error color. Okay. I can work with that. This is photo. I configured this with ID, photo, crop, and options. ID, photo, no color, crop, and options. F5. It's going to take the picture. And there we go. It took the picture. Cheese. Okay. Now, under web, static, photos, we have a photo. If we go back, F5, it didn't quite get it right. Inspect. Let's see if we can figure this out. Web static. Why the web prefix? We don't want the web prefix. That's the problem. If I got rid of the web prefix, then it works. Okay, so we need to get rid of the web prefix. Okay. All right. I wonder if in Glob there is a way to automatically remove a prefix. Python, glob, remove path, sure. No, I don't want a crazy pants thing like that. What am I working on? I'm working towards rewriting the software that controls my CD robot. And I'm trying to test the different elements of it that I need independently first before we start to work on the main code base. So right now I'm testing taking photos with a overhead camera that I will use for jewel cases as I load disks. All right, you know what we're gonna do? One of you guys are about to tell me about how like array expansions or whatever works, and I'm gonna go, that sounds like something I won't remember, because I know I won't remember it because I don't remember how to do it last time. Hold on. Python map. Let's just look at this. My function. Okay, so function iterables. If I do map I don't know how to do this. Python map inline. Dude, list comprehension looks so much worse. Oh my gosh. Ugh. For x and x, if a in what do you mean if condition? Okay, that'll work. I hate that I just liked a W3 schools thing. Maybe they're getting better. I don't know. Photos for P in photos, replace web prefix, blah. That'll work. Adrian, it's a fart huffing thing for Python developers where they want their code to look a specific way that is more Python-like. So let me give you an example. Let's say I wanted to iterate through this list in a different way. What I could do is for I in range 0, len photos. And then I could do photos I replace blah, 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 blah. Okay. So this would be the least Pythonic way because we're treating this as if it were C and we're doing a for loop using indexes. Python generally can work without doing arrays by indexes, and doing it this way is frowned upon. I can't tell you exactly why it's frowned upon other than it is frowned upon. So that's an example. We need to code in a way people don't understand. Kind of. But the idea is that once you understand the Python way, it can make more sense. So you can think of this as like a lambda list. A lambda list action. So the other way we could do this, okay, slightly more Pythonic, for I in photos, and then we just do I replace. Now I would say this is more PHP-like, and this is also completely valid. So I could do this instead. Is it actually fewer characters? That's kind of amazing. So this is also valid. I already know what both of them done. Yeah, I know. If you want to code in a way that people don't understand, you should use Perl. You know what? Screw it. I generally do prefer software that's easier to read. I feel like the in syntax is reasonable. So we'll go and do this. All right, so now I can reload this. F5, my page, boop, and it still didn't work. I'm not 100% sure that this actually, yeah. So the problem is that this might not be a reference. This might be a copy. I'm not sure. Python for in copy or reference. Lame. And this is why we do the list comprehension. Because Python does not like, yeah, and there's the list comprehension answer. Python does not like to give you references to the actual objects. Yeah, so this is why we do it this way. Python tries to be safe. So, yep, we have to do it this way. Or we do the for length way, which would work, but is kind of, I don't like it. In C++, it would be way more elegant than the way that it works here, because Python has that stupid range nonsense. An actual for loop in C++ is better than the Python for I in range, whatever. So I would prefer this in Python over the range method. So now, boom, it works. There we go. Maybe photo instead of P. I feel like that part's simple enough. We don't need to add 8 more characters for no good reason. All right, there we go. So now let's evolve this slightly more. And we will app config, because I believe in this, we will have the app context, cameras, app config, cameras. All right, and then in this, excuse me, up here, we will have a href, can't be slash camera. Is it just camera? Camera, and then for cameras, UVC ID, I believe. Camera row. Wait, how did this work? UVC underscore ID. Uh-oh, something's cranky. I don't like it. Let me go back and look at how that worked. Here. No. Here. No. Here. No. Here. Oh, single quotes. The HTML? What's wrong with the HTML? This HTML is fantastic. At this point, it should embed the HTML directly in the Python code, so it's legit, it's not readable to anyone to you. That is exactly what I'm trying to abstract away from. So this is why I am doing this, so that I can take advantage of this. I will agree, if you're not familiar with Python, it sucks. So I fully appreciate that. Fully. Okay, href, blah, blah, blah. Take picture on camera. That camera. A. All right. Is that going to be good? Who knows? Kill it. I said kill it. Reload it. Go back. F5. Error. App is not defined. Well, that's mean. Why is it not defined? Because I didn't do current app config, that's why. Here. Okay. Actually, just current app. Boom. And current app. Boom. Now I believe this will work. F5. There we go. But it didn't add a button. Oh, there it is. Take picture. Click. And just for kicks here, error Python sad. You joke, I would 100% put a message like that in there. Okay, F5, and boom, there's our new image. Okay, so that works. So now we can click a link, it takes a photo, and we get it in there. You understand this HTML file? So it's a hybrid of HTML and Python. First, it loads in base.html, which is here. And then we have substitution areas. So where in base HTML there is block head or block header, it will put the content that I put here in place of that. And then I have Python for loops that generate more HTML in the middle of the HTML. So you can think of it more like PHP kind of stuff, but with Python instead. And yes, it is as disgusting as it sounds. It's awful, but it's better than what I was doing before, which was literally just generating the HTML as a string. All right. I'm pretty happy with this. I think what I should do now is style width 100 px. Save, close, reload, F5. Just to make it sane for right now. Okay. Could I have done a style or CSS thing? Yes. Could I have just done that direct raw one? Also, yes. Actually, I could be even worse. Let's just be even worse. I think we could just do straight up an HTML attribute, can't we? Like, I think that's valid, isn't it? Oh, it's gross. I love it. There we go. All right. Okay, that's perfect. So let's move on now. The next thing that we need. Shall we trust web devs? Yeah. Dude, I loathe these so much from using Stylus to write custom style sheets, because this is like the hardest thing to override. It's so hard coded low level. It's ridiculous. Hello, David MC. Thank you. Yeah, it really sucks. Made a Python class as an HTML file, had methods, encapsulate text and HTML tags. That is a way of going about it as well. But we're using Python as an actual HTML server here, so. Okay, I want a button that we can click. We need a text box and a button to click for submitting so that we can move all of the folder or the images into a folder with a custom name. That's the next step. Can we make all tags uppercase like they're supposed to be? It's too late for that. There's like, like 8 whole words here. I don't feel like retyping them all. But I can do you even better, all right? We'll start typing all the new ones uppercase. That way it's at least somewhat correct. Is that acceptable? Okay, let's do that. So, input, type, wait, no, these need to be type equal submit. I don't know if this one could be uppercase or not, so we're just going to keep it lowercase. All right. Attributes are lowercase. Okay, that's fine. We can do that. Type equals submit. All right. And then that's a button. So value equals move photos. All right, so that'll be our button, but we have input type equal, I think it's just text box. All right. Before that, and then our ID will be words go here. All right. And then I think we want this as well. Oh, wait, no. Input's one of them stupid ones where, or is it? Hold on. I can't remember if input needs the full tag or not. I think it does. I think we need this. Ooh, that's even better. We can have uppercase for starting tags and then lowercase for closing tags. It makes it really easy to tell which is which without even needing to pay attention to that weird slash thing. It's so hard to see. It's just like a couple of pixels barely going up. See, that's so much clearer. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll leave it like that. And because I'm not a monster, we're gonna have a label. And then this is for words go here. And is name of folder. Label.
CHER 100. I think we have already established you are a monster today. End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Apparently they just went to Ben, so. All right. All perfectly valid HTML. Love it. Okay. Table layout? I'm listening. I mean, you don't like my single line layout? This is called responsive design. See, because now when I make the page narrower, the items automatically wrap. See, as long as you never put a single breaking space in there, everything fully responsively wraps. It supports ultra-wide. It's perfect.
Laura Kuhn says CHER 100. I would say Ben gets enough of my bits, but it would sound wrong. End of line.
Thank you for the 100 bits. All right. We need to have this have an action. So we're going to do form action equals, and then, oh, we need to have one. No, we don't need one per camera. So we haven't defined the endpoint for this yet. So for now, we'll just call this move. And then we'll figure that out in a second. All right. So that should be good. All right. Oh, dang it. I didn't, wait, we can fix this. Hold on. Style, inline. Is it inline block? Or span the normal one? Why is this not working? Oh, because I didn't set display. Display, duh. Wait, is style an attribute? Or display? I don't, yeah, you can do display equals none, so we should be able to do this. Yeah, equals inline. Yeah, that should be fine. right? No. Maybe it's got to be inline block. Maybe I'm wrong and you can't do display. I thought you could do display none as like, maybe only display none works as that? I don't know. Style equal display inline block. Okay, that was close. We almost didn't have it all in our responsive design. All right. So this should, if I type this in and click, it should give us an error saying that it's 404ing on the endpoint move. Correct. Okay. HTML is just like, whatever, dude. HTML is, it's an interpretive language, and I don't mean that the rendering engine is interpretive. I mean, it's how you express yourself with it. See, you're given so many options. It's really up to the artist's intent for how they want to write HTML. So we're allowed to do all of these things because of that. All right. So let's add an endpoint for move. And this is just going to write to the server. The OG vibe coding. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. All right. So this will be move action. All right. You know, I don't think we're going to need this one, so I'm just going to wipe this out. I don't think that's ever going to come into play. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to load in the database. We're going to add an action for moving the file. And then this is where, excuse me, for those of you who may not have been here for the actual plans of what we're really trying to do, I'm splitting up my program that was all like a giant mess before. Each circle here represents an async IO event loop. And then we're trying to communicate between a process using Python multiprocessing to through an SQL database. So what we're going to simulate next is a controller. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about when I say controller, let me explain this a little bit because I think we have some new people here today, maybe. So I am not connected to local Wi-Fi. No, I am. Why is this not connecting? Do I have my VPN on? No. Am I accidentally playing music right now? I am. Come on, play. Do I need to click this? There we go. Okay, anyway. So, for those of you who may not be here, this is a CD robot. So this is an arm that picks up disks from hoppers like this and moves them into drives so that I can rip disks in bulk quickly and automatically. So the idea is the software is going to use the camera that's right here to take photos of the jewel cases before I put the disks in here, cache these as I add them to the queue of this, and then I will start the queue for ripping these and processing them. So what I am attempting to do here is build the queue in the database and then have the controller handle every file or every entry into the hoppers for the disks one at a time. So we're going to create an action for the controller to respond to, because the web front end is completely independent of the controller action that drives the robot. So I need this to listen through the database. That's the goal here. So we're going to queue up an action for moving the files into what would be the output folder if it was actually ripping a disk here. But again, this is just a demonstration program so that I can get a feel for how this will work in the full version. So Shall we be listening to The Prodigy? So you know what's funny? I wanted to listen to The Prodigy today, but I didn't have access to it because there is something wrong with the radio in my van right now, and I can't actually just use line in anymore. So I'm stuck with FM broadcasts, and I don't have an FM broadcaster that I can use with my Theo, so I'm using one that works with my phone over Bluetooth, and I don't have The Prodigy loaded on my phone, so I need to fix that. It is very frustrating. I have not been able to use my DAP in quite some time. And I'm really getting frustrated by it, and I don't know how I'm going to solve it, because trying to repair the stereo in the van is not just repairing the stereo in the van. Oh no, because it's all 20-year-old plastic that I got to pull off. It's also rebuilding the dashboard if I try to remove the stereo. So I'm not looking forward to that. There's a lot of plastic that's going to die as soon as I try and do that. So I need to get it all from like a junkyard van before I do that. So I haven't started on that mess yet. Anyway, let's try and do an action. So DB photo, and that's another tech tangent. Yeah, it'll match the hood. It's, yeah. I was using an iPod with Mondeo. I'm envious. I just prefer that. And it's the only thing that'll work if you want more than 2 gigabyte, FAT16. Tried to find a 2 gigabyte stick that old. I mean, I could just like walk over. You know, started that on my 95 Tacoma, but it turned out okay. No. Mine's actually bad. Yeah, no, I'm 100% sure. Mine is all toast. Yours did not spend 20 years in the Arizona sun without windshield covers. Let me put it this way. I had a problem where there was the CD was not ejecting, and I just tried to whack the side of the dashboard so that the drive would like do it, and because that had worked in the past. And then the grill over the speaker, that's the center channel, basically turned to dust. It exploded. So, yeah. Also, look up the dashboard for a 2004 Toyota Sienna. You'll see that there are 2 plastic strips that run along the sides of it. They have plastic latches that go into the top that are just waiting to shear off the instant you try to pull them out. And both of those are already gone on mine. So they actually kind of like fold forward if you pull on them. So that's part of why I know they're going to just disintegrate. The aux tape adapters, yeah, I don't know if even the tape motor thing still works in mine. So I'm not so sure. Okay, we're gonna get data, get JSON. Okay, I don't remember how I can read form data. I think we just do request.form.toJSON. Is that it? Weight reduction dash by dash removal when. Yeah, it's not going to be that much. Because I don't normally bother with forms. I usually just do fetches as JSON. This neat part, the motor doesn't need to work. Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't know, maybe. The ejection motor needs to work if I ever want it to not be in there. I definitely have those. I could consider that. I don't know how good that is compared to the FM broadcaster. Later today, I'm actually going to move the FM broadcaster to right underneath of the receiver antenna, so it's going to get a lot better today, but that's a different problem. And yes, David MC, it is Flask. Technically, it's Quart, which is the async I/O version of Flask, because I'm trying to run a bunch of async nonsense all at once. So I need to remember how to do this. I think it's just request form get JSON. I think. We'll see. I don't know. Oh, wait. There's something stupid with this. Do we move this here? Hold on. We got to go to the Quart documentation, because this is one of them gotchas. Quart tutorial. I know how to type words Python. Google know what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, tutorials. Quick start, introduction to async IO. Then at the bottom of this page, you're like, this is what you want to do. And then it's like, oh, wait, actually, it's this. Okay, so yeah, we put it after the form. All right. Let's try this. Flask request form. And then, you know what? Is this going to work? Yes. Okay, let's see what methods we have for this. By default, immutable dict. This can be changed. Oh, do we do 2 dictionary from that? I think that might be it. Get JSON. Oh, do we just do get JSON? Wait, no. This is wrong. I think this is why I always do a fetch with a JSON processed, because this sucks. I would like to do at least this one. So we'll find out. So we're going to beat our head against this for a little bit, I suspect. Got the multiple UV stuff mostly working? Cool. How are things been going? Bad. But that's a different story. This has been going okay. We can successfully take pictures from the web front end, and I'm now working on reading data from a form so that I can respond to actions. Okay. You know what? Just for now, we'll print this. Pprint. It's just going to say like object immutable dict or whatever, but whatever. Pprint data, return. Yep. All right. That'll be fine. F5. Okay, it didn't cry too much there. It didn't cry over here. Okay, move photos. Yep, okay. It didn't cry at all. There's our immutable dict thing. Okay. So now, since we're only passing one value, I guess we can try the get. So what's this called again? This is words go here. Okay, so let's try to get words go here and see what that looks like. Data dot get. I think this is how this works. Words go here. Probably isn't. F5. Go. And none. Cool. CD robots in this economy? I bought them before this economy, don't worry. If it was this economy, I could not afford it. Form data, parser class, get data, this cache reads blah, 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 parse form data, get JSON, parse data. You know, let's just try this. Dot get JSON. And then we can do, we'll just print the data again. We'll see if that does it better. Close. Should tell me, I'm going to guess, it's not a JSON. Don't do that. What's wrong with you? F5, go, error, better. Okay, await coroutine has no attribute, get JSON. Wait, why is this one an await coroutine now? Now do I move this in here? I hate Quart. F5, and then, hold on. Go. Coroutine has no attribute, get JSON. Oh my gosh. Can I just do this? I don't think that'll work. F5. Wait, that worked? But it's none. Okay, that didn't work. Form, okay. Wasn't the await inside the parentheses in that tutorial? Yeah, but they weren't doing a get JSON. They did, oh wait, was it key? Is that what they did? I think they did key. No, get. But that didn't work for me. What am I doing wrong? Data. Get. Work. Words go here. back. It's just F5, send thing. It accepts it, but then it prints nothing. Formatted incorrectly? Well, I mean, I know that somewhere in theory, but I don't actually know what it's like doing. So we have this request. No payload for this request, but aren't you supposed to like send the payload of like the stuff? Isn't that the whole point of putting it in a form with an action with a submit? Do I have to name this? Is that the problem? Name? I bet that's what it was. I bet I had to name it. Just the ID wasn't acceptable. I think we need the name for forms. So F5, go, and now, no. For the get, look at the example again. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. But then, so I am awaiting this. I'm getting this data. So this is equivalent. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Let's just try this. Internal error. Hold on. Go. Yeah, internal error. Coroutine has not. Yeah. So we have to await. Wait. Does that mean that their example just straight up doesn't work? Oh, they put. Oh. I see what you mean now. I don't know. Let's find out. Okay, it's still none, because it still hates me. Why did it hate me so much? F5. Let me make sure it's named. Inspect. ID to X, name. Okay, it's got all the things. Okay, we're sending it to move. None. It's in the thing now. Here, I'll save it. I'll close it and relaunch it just to make sure. Okay. Go back. Do it. None. It knows you hate it. That's fair. Oh, I know what the problem is. I'm telling it to be sad. What is just data at this point? I suspect it's the immutable dict, but yeah, it is. What can I do with that? Does this have any data? What happens if I disallow get methods? Allowed must be list of strings. Is this a tuple and then it just coincidentally also works as a string or a whatever thing? Is that what's going on? I don't understand this. I don't like software. Okay. F5. Go. Method not allowed. Okay. There is a step that I'm forgetting. We have to set. Do we set method equal post? Form method. I must be forgetting this. Action, blah, method, yeah, okay. I like how no one caught that. There we go. And boom. Now we got it. Wow. Okay. So the data was being printed there. Yeah. I thought forms were post by default. Why are they get by default? It's so weird. All right, sure, whatever. Fine. So I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that I'm allowed to... Actually, do I have to do the get, or can I do it as a key? Because this is the farthest I've ever gotten with just a form. Let's find out. F5. Resend. And a blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that works. We can use a key. All right. Well, now I have to write more software. Dang it. Okay. So we're going to call the function in the database doodad where we add an action. All right. We're going to just hard code controller ID 0 because, like, ugh. So we do this db dot add action, get rid of self. Our action is going to be move. The name is going to be data words go here. And then the controller ID is going to be 0. Like I said, I'm going to hard code that because, ugh. Okay. We'll put this back over here. And then I think that's it. What server are you using? What do you mean, web server? This is Quart. So it's a native Python web server. I literally just run the Python script, and it is also the web server. It is an asynchronous variant of Flask. All right, I don't think we need any of this. Or that. All right, out of curiosity, have we generated a PhotoDB? We have not. Or actually, it should just go into this, which we haven't modified since yesterday. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one to run. So let's see what this does. Okay, it didn't die there. F5 on that, didn't die yet. And then error. Okay. SQLite 3, no such table, action queue. I mean, that's why you're supposed to check if it's there. All right, let's look at DB. Init, auto connect, DB file, initialize DB file. So we select name from, we need to figure out how to check if a specific table exists, not if the database is completely uninitialized. Or I think our SQL drop table if exists. Can we just do... I was going to say create table if not exists, but I can't run the schema file every time if it's drop table if exists. So how do I want to handle this? You know what? There is 0 instance ever where we're going to drop tables as SQL, because I'm just going to delete the file. So we'll create table if the table does not exist. Yeah, create table. I don't know if this is the exact syntax. If not exist. SQL. SQL. May create table if not exist. Okay, this might be the wonkier syntax where I got to know exactly how SQLite wants me to do it. Create table if not exists. Okay. Boom. There we go. So that's where Python gets the not operator from. Hello, Maggie. We are working on basically test software to determine how I can work with the CD robot in a less stupid way after rewriting my software, because my software is unmaintainable, unfortunately. So, AutoConnect. Yeah, I say we just init schema every single time. So we just do this. And just whatever. And then I gotta go to the real schema and then kill these. But I need to add if not exists. So photo SQL, if not exists. That's too many spaces, so we'll just do this. And that. And save, and boom. Okay. Now I think that's valid. Maybe. We'll find out. Okay. Close that. Run this. Have it fail. It didn't fail. F5, so now it can fail. It failed. No such table, action queue. But why? I didn't, photo, insert into action queue, but that's a different name. And this is called photo. I named the thing 3 different things. Okay. Action queue. Close that. Action queue. We're going to have a random database table in there, but don't worry about it. It's fine. No one will notice. Just shh, don't tell anyone. Okay. F5. Go. And now it's good. Forgot about how to feed that monster automatically, because sometimes you need to take some burn. I mean, it holds up to 200 disks, and I'm reading disks. That's going to take a long time. So I'm not worried about loading hoppers more. So, yeah. I'm not really... The databases are ephemeral, PC, so it doesn't matter. You didn't see a robot loading and unloading robot? Yeah. Before I do that, I need someone to model the hoppers for me, so that doesn't matter. Okay. Now. How do async IO event tasks handle the stack? So let me Let me phrase the question this way. If in JavaScript, script, all right? Wait, I did this wrong. Script. Okay. If within JavaScript, I had a function, okay, so function, junction, bill, no, I'm just kidding. So does thing, okay, sure, why not? Alert thing, cool, close enough. Okay, now what I can do is, I forget exactly what the syntax here is, but it's like timeout, all right? Set timeout, all right? And then 1,000 milliseconds or whatever, and then have it be does thing, okay? And then at the end of this, I can set another timeout for itself. So I can have this call itself once a second automatically by doing this, all right? Don't worry about it. If you need to worry about it, something's wonky, sadly. Well, hold on here. So what I want to know is, let's say I don't put the CD robot in a separate multiprocess process. What if I let it exist in the main async IO event loop? Can I have an async function that creates a task that calls itself and then let it die, but then before it calls itself again as an async IO loop or a sleep for like 10 seconds? I think I can't. Yeah, no, I can't. Actually, no, this is not viable. Never mind. You can't do that. Yeah, you very specifically cannot do that. And it's not for whatever reason Majenko's saying. There's just a whole lot of words there that sound complicated. Here's why you can't do that. Async IO creates a task object that has a reference in memory to the callback. But if we put the create task at the end of a function like this, it can be garbage collected away once this function ends. Because of a chain of all the historical ones awaiting the result of the new one. Oh, well, if that's the case, I wasn't going to await it, but I guess that works, or is a reason too. So that's what I meant by stack. If there was something along those lines. But yeah, the callback being garbage collected away is a problem. We can't rely on that. All right, well, let's look it up. Your keywords are invisible to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, you had an await there, not a return. Well, I'm not actually showing code that was real. I will admit, this set timeout is too red. That's really hard to read. Okay, Python call async function repeatedly. That's JS. Yeah, so that was pseudocode that was functionally equivalent to what I was trying to do in async IO. Async is cooperative multitasking, so it only changes context when yielded. So anything that's not async will, okay, yeah, but it's mostly about whether or not I can run it multiple times. I don't want it to run concurrently. I just want like a callback, like run it again. Subwoofer's back. I mean, I know how to do this. I just don't want to because we've already done it. It's stupid. In chat, we do it by having the separate WebSocket things be broken out into, here it is, into the send and receive where they have while trues. And we just never let it die. Shouldn't I have an async IO sleep in there or something? Isn't that just like burning massive amounts of CPU cycles? Also, does that never release? I don't understand how that works. I don't think. It's awaiting a response. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. Well, this is just making a list for how many times you want it to run there, I think. I don't think that doesn't seem right. Then you're gathering all of them. Yeah, that only works if you know how many times you want it to run. That doesn't work. No. Yeah, so I get what you're saying. It releases here. I hate subwoofer guy. I have to go look again. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous right now. It's absolutely insane. It is so loud outside, and I don't even think they're next to the office. I think they are actively trying to antagonize someone. Like, I think they're trying to. I don't know what they're trying to do. It's. Wow. There's no way that they are doing that because they actually want to hear that. They have to be trying to agitate something. It is unbelievably loud outside. People being noisy? No, it's not. No. It's a car with a subwoofer. But I could actually hear the rest of the music, not just the subwoofer. So it's something more. I don't know. It's Desiac. No, it's not. Wow. Like, it would be unpleasant to be standing beside that car, like, outside of it. All right. Well, um, I'm saying even Desiac wouldn't do that level. The 1010, I'm fine with someone enjoying music. This is not enjoying music. For one, it's dubstep, so like, come on. But like, uh, no. Sorry for late response. My phone was on the other side of the garage. It's not me. I'm selling Beetle parts. What year? I think '02. Nice. I would drive one of those. I like them. But I also really enjoy the Beetle Adventure racing game, so I might be biased. Okay, I'm gonna step outside and leave the microphone on. I bet you guys will be able to hear it. It is so loud. Like, it is obscene. Like, I can't see them. Like, they're so far away. They're not like in the parking lot or something. I'll be curious to listen back. If someone wants to clip that, I would actually be curious to listen to that back once I have headphones.
Loriku says CHEER 100 you can't see them, but you can feel them. End of
Yeah,
line.
no kidding. Just starting on the line there. Yeah. Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Yeah, this is not like, oh, my neighbors are having a party and it's so annoying. That's not the level of sound we're talking here. Okay. Now YouTube will copyright? Maybe. I don't know. Since it was just wow, wow, and some dude talking that's probably a clip from a movie or something, I suspect I'll be fine. But yeah. All right, anyway. Now let's how do I want to handle this? You know what? I'm gonna play this right now. I have. Will it play? I don't know if it will play. It doesn't like me, I guess. There we go. All right, come on. Actually play. Maybe if I reduce the quality. Let's step outside. Oh, it's so obvious. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. You get the idea then. Obscene. All right. Oh, out of coffee. Sad day. All right. Thank you, Wiseman. Yeah. Feels like a movie or music to me. What I suspect it is probably just a sample from a movie that they're using in the music. It's a very common thing. Kind of like Power Man 5000 Worlds Collide has a sample from, I never remember the name of the movie, but it's a You Are a Robot is a line from a movie that was about something of the humanoids, I think. But yeah. But yeah, it's a common trope. So it's probably just a line from a movie. Okay. I'm trying to decide. Here's what I needed to figure out, okay? So to simulate the controller for the robot running, I need to run something that's constantly querying the database to determine if yeah, I do know that actually. Desiac. Anyway, I need to run a process that's continuously checking the database to see if any new actions have been stored here. So I'm trying to determine how I want to run that and have it continuously check. That's what I'm trying to determine. So I guess in the short term, what I could do is cheat, and instead of having something that's constantly querying the database, I can just put it here and then just do a check in the load. So action check. And action where select action name where controller ID 0. Okay. Well, we need an action remove. And we will get, what was it, key or ID, something along those lines. Let me double check, photo SQL, key. So we need key, because we will delete key later. Okay, add insert. What did I just do this? Okay, why is there a thing that's BP right there? I guess that's technically valid Python and never came up. Your webcam is not from a Blackmagic? No, God, I would not use a Blackmagic as a webcam. That would be insane. No, this is a Logitech Brio. Here's the thing. This looks so terrible because my shirt is dark, and I'm not even kidding. Like, if I move out of the way, it looks way better because it exposes for the white wall, and then it looks better. But the instant I get in here, it sees my dark shirt, and it tries to gray expose that, and then it looks terrible. So yeah, the problem is my dark hair and the dark shirt. I could lock the exposure, but it changes every single time I turn on the computer, so I'm not going to bother. Trying to set UVC camera exposure properties in OBS is a waste of time. This, by the way, is why I spent about $300 a piece per camera at home instead of getting webcams to get the HDMI camera set up. I know other streamers do that for their webcams, but those are for people who are sitting at a computer exclusively. I generally don't sit at the computer exclusively. I have been for a little while, but yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's why the one over there is a Blackmagic, because the workbench is the real setup. With good lighting, it's not a lighting thing. This is an auto exposure thing. It is auto exposing the dark shirt. It's the same thing. If I hold up this dark thing, it gets bright. But if I hold up this bright thing, it gets dark. It's an auto exposure thing. It's not about the lighting. It's about the scene's overall brightness. Okay, we need to get key from this, and then we will delete. Action delete. With good fixed lighting, the exposure doesn't really change much. I'm telling you, my hair is enough to change the exposure. So it doesn't matter how much or how the lighting is. It doesn't matter. Okay, we're going to delete by key. And then delete where key? Is it delete from action queue where key? Is that it? It's been a little while.
Matchenko Tech says CHER 100. The exposure is on a hair trigger. End of line.
Check out, thank you for the 100 bits. Yeah, I think we delete from table where. Okay, so that's good. And then key. Okay.
Network 17s. Subscribed with Prime. They've subscribed for 26 months. And says good evening all. End of line.
Network 17, thank you for the Prime sub there. And for 26, that's this many months. Thank you, I appreciate that. Better than Magic Contact. I mean, did you like even try to figure out a deck talk pronunciation for it? You just do like the first one you thought of, because I'm sure you could do better even without phonemes. Okay, so that'll work. All right, so we'll do action check for this. And then we're already doing a to dictionary, so that's good. So this is going to return a list of dictionaries for action in boom. First one you thought of? Okay. So match. Nope. I don't think it's switch, is it? Switch? No. I hate Python. Match. Action. Move. No. Move. Why is that gray? Oh, case. Move. Okay. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Okay. Case, move, and then we need a break, right? Return. Is it... I gotta sneeze, hold on. Oh gosh. Sneeze denied. Is it Python that auto breaks or is it JavaScript? I don't remember. I feel like JavaScript does not auto break, so it might be Python. Python match case. Let's just see if we can figure this out. Blah, 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 blah. I think Python auto breaks. Yeah, I think we stack cases on top of each other if we want them to cascade. Or maybe it just doesn't do cascading ones, because cascading cases are stupid. Okay, I think it just doesn't do it. Okay, move. We do something that moves photos. Print. I totally moved the photos. Yep. And then we would do action, delete, and then be action key. But I don't want to do that yet. Okay, let's try this. Boom. Load this, and then I totally moved the photos. Yep. Okay, perfect. So now we can do, because this is just a test, I'm not going to worry about it too much. If we'll grab the name, and we're going to prefix this with a timestamp. So we'll grab this, and then folder equals F dash, and then underscore, and then that will be action. Is it name? Name, yeah. Name. If OS path not exists, folder, then we make the folder. Then we have to, what is it, like shutil move or some stupid nonsense. All of the things will glob all of this. So these are the photos, and we're not going to replace that because we're not doing this at the web level. We're doing it at the file system level. Wait, I want to prefix this. Because I want to put it in the subdirectory. Okay. Python move file. You know, it's really annoying. We have to, like, the built-ins for, like, casting an int or printing. We should have built-ins for moving files and renaming files and copying files. Like, dude, that'd be so nice. Instead of having to import whatever shutil is. I love how these are all exactly the same thing, but everyone just wants you to use shutil for some reason, and it's the only weird-looking one. Like, why? Why does it have to be that one? I don't like it. Also, can I specify? I bet we can do without specifying the file name. Or the file name. I'm doing all right, C-Flims. Glad you are as well. Okay, so for photo in photos, move photo to folder. Boom. Okay. And then we can delete the action. Bam. Okay. So now, kill that. And refresh. Pictures are gone. And then if I go to this folder, bam, there we go. That works. That's exactly what we want it to do. I mean, apparently it's going pretty well, C-Flims. Or C-Films. C-Films, sorry. That's exactly what I want. Okay, so let's simulate this here. Okay. So, trying to wake up the Caesar, but it doesn't want to. All right, well, you can just continue taking a nap. Let's take a picture on camera 0. Boom. So this is going to load. It takes a little while. Does the robot have a name? Alaritech Auto Publisher LS. All right, and now we can refresh the page. I said, and now we can refresh the page. Wait, why did it do that? It didn't delete the path or the action thing. Hold on, reading, delete, reading. Oh, wait. I need to run modify, not read. Although, why didn't read work? read, execute query, parameter, fetch all, modify. It doesn't have a commit. That's the difference. Actually, that might have crashed. F5, F5. Okay, F5. So just go ahead and take another picture. We can see that having all the fun in the background. Cool. F5. Now it shows up. Perfect. So then we'll move this to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Move. Okay. Now I can go back. And then F5. And then it's very cranky. Why are you so cranky? Except on get photo to, oh, I guess I didn't return anything. So that's my fault. Okay. F5. All right. Let's try this one more time. So take photo. Gosh. I will click that in 50 minutes, Deziak. F5. Okay, so we got Evel Knievel. All right. Make dir EK. Move photos. All right. Go back. F5. And it's gone. Now, if we go here, we have the EK folder. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. And I think everything worked fine. So that's it. That works now. What do I like about Python? That it has modules for almost everything. And that they aren't a complete nightmare to use. I mean, they're not always super easy, but can you imagine like trying to control the CD robot with C++ and like a serial module for that? Ugh. When in Python it's just open serial, write string, done. So much easier. And it's stupid stuff like that that I think is the reason to use Python. Like, even worse, I can't even imagine what it's like to program a USB GPIB device in C++. Like, oh, that's gotta be awful. And I deal with hardware level stuff too much. It's not worth it. But then on the other end, a C++ web server also would be horrible. So I wouldn't want to use that either. Well, this is kind of fully featured now. This does exactly what I wanted. Yeah. We could make this prettier, but there's no real reason to. So here, let's try this as well. I'm going to throw in the doors. We'll take another picture, and then we'll test that it will move all files, because we haven't technically done that. Auto refresh, new picture. Yeah, I mean, in the real software, I'll do something along those lines. In this, I don't really care. This is just to test that the structure of the software works. So there's the doors as well. So let's do multiple. All right, move photos. Yep. Also have it not redirect the page on the real software. And then we can go here and we can check multiple. Boom, they're all removed. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. I think I can go ahead and commit this now. So this has an example of defining a custom interface for the database object where we wrap the actions. So basically this is my stored procedures. Then we're not actually using WebSockets at all. I could, but meh. I really don't feel like it. This is how I would have it automatically send the image data back. But I would also have it not do other stuff. So we can just merge that in the final one. It's kind of a waste of time for me to figure out how to do that. The dynamic routes, now that was an interesting one to figure out because we are doing that. That's completely new. Yeah, Riders on the Storm is an excellent song. So the dynamic routes was a new concept. I kind of want to standardize that. So I'll make the blueprint classes, well, not classes, templates have that, and then it'll just return like none or something if there's nothing. I don't know. I don't know how I want to handle that, but yeah, that's definitely a thing. So how did we exactly do that? So we made a function for build app. We pass the config data to that, and then we register blueprint, and we do the dynamic routes from this where we add using the app data to that. Okay. You know, I know what you're talking about with the Need for Speed Underground 2 remix, but only because I believe it was on Need for Speed Carbon PSP as well, and that's where I heard it. I never played Underground. Okay, I'm gonna test if this works still after making some modifications. All right. I don't want to hear. Let me put the crow up. First piece of hue on the title screen. It's your most used coding language. Well, when you phrase it that way, it's definitely Python. At this point, it's probably Python. You can also kind of just figure it out by looking at my GitHub repo, I suspect, although I don't know if they do that kind of metadata analysis or whatever. Yeah, this rocks. It's like, that's just jamming. Be able to take the pictures like that. That one's, there's 3 stacked on top of each other, so it's bigger and cropping more. Yeah, so then crow, move photos, boom, go back, F5. It's moved. That's perfect. Yeah. Man, if only the Nikon exposed itself as like a UVC camera device when plugged in. This would be really nice for doing tethered photos. Like, I still almost want to just use this for tethered photos. This is really sweet. It's a shame about the, that's an option that I should have in the config for the UVC photo stuff. The integration time for focusing, where we have it delay. Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to get away with saying that in that way. The integration time for how many frames it waits for autofocus to happen. I should have that be a configuration option. That seems like an uphill battle, C-Films. So you're going to have to deal with MATLAB and whatever that open source one is called. I don't remember. It's a weird name. I'm not going to remember it. But yeah. Octave. Yep, that's it. That is it. I desperately want to force myself to use Octave, but then the Python terminal is right there. And every time the Python terminal wins, unless I'm on stream. And I haven't had to do math on stream. I've been waiting. I have a Casio FX 451M here. That's my current plan of how to do a math. And what's cool is now that I have the Caesar right here, if I want to do a math on camera, I can just go, okay, it's time for some math. And then, bam, let's math it up. I'll camera on somewhere. There's the button. All right. And then maybe I should hit this so that there's like light above it. There we go. And then I can, oh my gosh, it's such a horrible view. But yeah, we could math it up that way. So. Yeah, from home, I don't have MATLAB experience. I wish I've had MATLAB experience. It seems like it would be really awesome to be comfortable with MATLAB. But yeah, I don't. Well, that's certainly an option, yeah. Have an ultra flickery, grainy, overly sharpened video. It's a great option. What is that? Oh, that's like a big number, man. You know what? I'm not going to do that only because I don't want to have to read that number out. That's the only reason I'm going to not. All right. Make the deck talk say it. You won't like my solution for that because that will use a Python or a bash expression. Because I would have to do that in a command line to do it easily. Oh, that's what the number is. Oh, I should have figured. Definitely look up bash expressions in chat, please. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm trying to decide if I want to, instead of having all of these be kind of hard-coded, maybe have an option for UVC options and then an option for like manager options, which would control the focus integration time, the UVC ID, the crop size, and that kind of stuff. Because I feel like this is complicated enough to where I should probably just do that. Instead of having 3 billion parameters. Although Wand just has 3 billion parameters, so I don't know. But I'm not exposing it like Wand, actually. That's the whole reason I'm doing it this way. It's because Wand is stupid. All right, let's change this. You know, I'm going to keep the UVC ID one separate because that one's the most important, but we're going to make everything else a one single dictionary. So we'll call this UVC options. And then we'll call this just regular options. I don't really like that, but whatever. Oh, wait, I can do the thing that always trips me up and just press, select it, and then do that. I don't like that shortcut. I might want to get rid of it. This will also make it so I can not supply color or not, which will be better. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That makes more sense. Yeah, I'll say this, Majenko, if you do want the deck talk as a TTS voice, it's not like I own that or would feel like you're copying me if you want to use it. I think the deck talk is awesome and everyone should use it for TTS in every way. So no one feel like that I'm going to feel like I'm being copied by doing that. I think the deck talk is awesome and I'd love to see it everywhere. All right. So if we do that, now we got a lot of nonsense to deal with. So it's options, photo. You know what? I should do it. This. Although I think this is faster. Nope, this doesn't work. Never mind. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, here's why it does not work. If I have a dictionary that defines all of that, I cannot specify defaults for each one of these individually, because if the user sets a dictionary, it's going to override all of the keys. And then I will have to go through and set each key individually. So screw that. We're just going to have one more option. Do it properly first you need a deck talk. Just use the open source deck talk. It's pretty good. The software one. I should have that on this computer. I don't know why I don't. Dictionary or operator could work for... That's not doing it properly. It's the super duper overkill way, though. Let's be real. The bar does not need to be set that high. I'm not sure what you're saying, David MC. So I could have a post processor where, let's say, we just have options equal this, and then I would do if, you know, crop in options and not if crop in options, and I would set crop there. I could do that. I don't know if that's what you're saying. I just don't really want to have to do it that way, because that's kind of dumber, in my opinion, than just doing this. Or it feels excessively verbose. Maybe not dumb. It feels excessively verbose to do it that way, when this is here and standard. So let's add here, settle frames equal 30. Wait, that's a thing? There's a Python join command? Wait, what? What? Since 3.9. Well, that's awesome. And I wish I hadn't just clobbered all of my my stuff. I want to mess with that. It's not that I don't believe you. I just want to see it. Python 3. So we're at 3.12.3. So defaults equal farts, smelly. All right. And then I got, let's go with user equal, actually user 1, Bob, or name, Bob. All right, and Bob has farts that are tolerable. Okay. And then user 2 is Fred. who currently does not have farts defined. Okay, so what we do is, based on your syntax, crop false options. So the one on the left side would be the superseding. So we will do, and you do an equals. So instance equals user1 defaults. And then instance is Bob farts were overridden. Okay, so let's flip those. So instance defaults user1, and then instance or farts are tolerable. Okay. Value on the right ones. Okay. So then for Fred, that would make Fred have smelly farts. Okay. They were gooey. Let's see. All right. Well, that is super good to know. Interesting. Okay. Chat names types of farts. Yeah. Ooh. All right. Options. Plural equal. This is not a, you know what? Let's do this up here. Options equal this. And we'll set the dictionary up here, because then if you want the default options, you can just import options from this so that you can get it. I think that makes sense to do. All right, watch this slick move. Equals to colon. Bam. Look at that. It's brilliant. It's almost like Vim. Okay, so we're going to do... Actually, we can just do this too. Hold on. Just Control R. A new line with... No, a space to a new line. Boom. Brings a tear to your eye. Okay. Except for that part. Boom. All right. That should be good. So then we will have I guess options default, because I don't want to override that. Options equal boom, and then options equal... Man, I desperately want to remember that this one exists, because this is awesome. I'm going to have to really try. All right. What's the vertical line on your display? Do you mean this right here? So I have an option in Kate where you can enable a 80 column delineation that I have set. So I have a custom Kate editor color style that I import, and that's part of it. So if I'm trying to 80 column wrap because I'm going to use this in a terminal or something, I know where the 80 column point is. So that's what that is. Thought your brand new monitor had an issue for a moment. Okay, so now we're gonna yawn a whole bunch. Oh my gosh, now we go through and we change this. It's a good color scheme. I forget where I adapted it from, but I have adapted it from something somewhere and tailored it over the years. But yeah, I do like it. I can't remember if I publicly put it anywhere. I should figure that out. I think I did, because I'd like actually properly have a Kate theme for it and everything. I have the exact same color scheme as a Vim color scheme as well, which is in my Vim RC repo on GitHub. They don't work quite the same between Kate and Vim, but it's the same concept with the same colors. It's just sometimes the syntax highlighting is different between the two. All right. So that works. Yeah, now let's just go through and change all of this everywhere. So photo color crop. That's what I need to change. And also the settle frame, so I'll come back for that. Okay, color. Oh, this one's gonna suck. Okay, color space. We're just pretending that that one doesn't exist because I don't want to deal with it. And then we have this, which has so many things. RIP 80 column for sure. Is there more over there? Oh yeah, there's plenty more. Holy moly. All right, we are up to 205 columns. Okay, cool. I'm sure I could break this down after each comma, but all right, output. This is now out of date, but we'll just use the default options. Okay, this is now UVC options, but I want, yeah, let's just go ahead and fix that first. Okay, and then I want options, settle frames. And then we'll try increasing the speed on the Caesar here and see what it can do. Crop equal at the top instead of replacing them all. Yeah, but it's software. You should replace them all. Like if it was a compiler, it could take care of that. But in Python, I'm sure it's dumb enough where it'd like make copies in memory. Okay. Color, photo color crop. Okay, I'm just gonna go through one more time, make sure none of those show up unused. I guess I could just run it too. It's not like it's that critical that it doesn't have an error. It's not like the robot where if it does something wrong, something's gonna go very, very wrong. All right, now I need to redefine the existing call to use that. So get photo, output UVC ID, and then options will be set here. Yeah, we set crop. Oh, actually, this gets improved. Yeah, this is better, because what I can do is options equal options. That I could spell, I swear. Maybe it's typing is a problem. So if we do that, then we can come over to config.json, and then we can lump all of this into options, and then this is UVC options, UVC underscore options. And then that lets me set or not set values, which works out a lot better, because then I don't have to worry about the color one not being set, because most people probably won't ever set that, or most people will never use the software because I'm a weirdo who's going to be using it. So now I don't have to worry about that, and then this is UVC options, and now I think it runs. Let's find out. F5, it didn't blow up, so take picture, error, key error photo. Where? Not that. UVC 39, controls, option, value. Oh, I didn't. What? UVC photo, options, UVC options, controls, option, options. Oh, I forgot to rename the thing that I actually used the original one. UVC option. Boom. There we go. That'll work. F5, and now it takes a picture. Project done and complete and working to his satisfaction, sitting down to rip stack of disks and discovering that one course of development, he's ripped his entire collection. Maybe, Ben. Maybe. Line 68, we have an existing crop or a loose undefined crop. Yep. Let's go if crop equals that. Okay, F5. All right, after this one, we'll try a settle frame of 3. What? If 170. Okay, I should have seen this coming. All right, there we go. F5. Go again. And there we go. And now F5, there's our photo. Okay, so close this, go back to here, options, settle underscore frames, set that to 3, and then we run it. Now we can go here, take picture, should only take 3 frames, close enough. And then we go back, and then it should be basically the same picture. Yep, those look about the same. I don't know what the exposure focus stuff is like. Yeah, those look identical. So it either kept it at the same focus, which would be kind of cool, or it's super fast. I guess we can test that. I'll hold something up higher and see what it does. That's out of focus. It is, oh, you know, the Caesar might be fixed focus. I never thought of that. Because you're always supposed to be taking pictures of stuff that are flat. Or maybe it's slow. I don't know. Let's try and view it as video and see what it does. That's staying focused on the bottom. It's auto-exposing. It is not auto-focusing. Interesting. I see no reason for it to be able to autofocus. It's fine for this use case, though, so that doesn't matter. Interesting. I had never considered that. I might be able to set autofocus. Zoom absolute, pan absolute, exposure, auto expose. There are no focus settings. Wow, it cannot focus. That's crazy. So on the other webcam, it has settings for focus position, autofocus. I guess those are the only two. But yeah, this just doesn't. Good you have the Crow, not the Crow City of Angels. I'm pretty sure I have both.
Loriku says CHER 100 it cannot focus. I feel the same often. End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. I am always awesome at focusing on stream. I can't relate at all. All right, get status. I think we're ready to commit this. So we need to add the config file. So config.json. We need to add UVC photo, photo py, photo SQL, but none of the other stuff. So git add config, git add everything in util is fine. Git add web, everything that's named photo is fine. So now check again, untracked, that's perfect. All right, git commit -am, add, wait, not done. Web photo db action example. There we go. Git commit add photo UVC camera control example. Git push. All right. Yes, of course, why the channel's called Tech Laser Focus, yeah. Poor Mark's off when he sneezes. I like how I apparently sneeze so much as one of the first things to think about. All right. Now that we're kind of done, because I don't think we should start trying to implement any new features in the last 13 minutes, I want to complain about something. This is my laptop, okay? It's got a Thunderbolt port on the back. That's apparently Thunderbolt 4, okay? And I bought a Magewell USB capture 4K Pro, which is the stupid, expensive, obscene one, and it requires a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 interface to do full 4K 60 RGB 444 whatever, okay? Doesn't matter. That's not what I want to complain about. I've been using this port on the back because it's the fancy port, but it's still actually no better than the port over here that's USB 3.1 Gen 2, which is 10 gigabits per second instead of 20 gigabits per second. But last night, I went to plug it into this port, the Thunderbolt port, which should have USB 3.1 Gen 2, and it showed up as USB 2.0. And I have no idea why. So tonight, I'm gonna try it again and see if maybe that port's just trashed or not. And if it is, I will cry a whole lot. Because, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine beginning to replace this laptop right now. So, what connector? C. It's just a C port. So, yeah. end of the C cable floating around the table or being plugged in. So yeah, I don't know why that happened. It sounds like driver decided to screw up. Yeah, I would think so too, but I rebooted the computer and it stayed the same. I unplugged it from here, plugged it into the C port over here, and then it was fine. So either it's the USB port driver, which I don't think it can be because it's the same chipset for those two ports, I believe, or it's the HDMI, or not the capture card driver, which it also can't be because it worked over on this port. So I think I'm hoping really it's not a hardware issue, but I don't know. Because I was kind of hoping to buy a Thunderbolt 4 dock so I could get USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 20 gigabits per second. I don't remember finding a dock that could do it, but I don't know. So it's very frustrating. USB is super dumb. I hate USB. Should have just been GPIB. Anyway. I had that with USB 3A connectors, USB 2 pins, connectors with 3.0 pins, 2 pins grabs first. I can understand that. That I definitely get. So, on a load of my backup devices had USB-C 2.2 cables. These are special, they are USB 4 cables. It was the exact same cable that I'm using. I had to buy cables specifically for this so it would work at full speed. So, but yeah, I don't know. I bumped the laptop on the thing and it freaked me out for a second. So I don't know what happened there. And I'm super scared that the port's going to be dead and I'm going to be so sad. So, yeah. All right, that was my story. That only took up 3 minutes. Now what? Maybe we wrap it up. I go home and I start, checking SSDs. Blah. Which USB cables were marked what spec they are? Yeah, the ones I bought are. But they claim they're 80 gigabits per second, which seems insane though. Yeah. Tell it again. Just tell it again 3 more times. So, well, I'll tell you this. The chunkiness of the USB or the LTT actually certified cables would be a problem for this use case with the capture card. Because I don't want the capture card, like, I need it to be able to be movable around the laptop. And they're super thick cables, especially to get a 40 gigabit per second one would be an issue. And I know it's only an issue because it means that they can actually do that. But it would be an issue. So I wish I had a more flexible one because the ones I already got are really rigid as is. So, yeah. Wish USB cables show up in a device tree so you can interrogate them without much faff. That would be cool, actually. Yeah. But, yeah. All right. I think that was a less awful implementation of the camera stuff this time. So I had implemented this before in the software, and I could probably remove some of this debug stuff. Like, we don't need any of this, but it's kind of nice when you have your camera connected to see what it could do there. So I don't really want to get rid of that. 8 minutes, yeah. USB over 10 base 5, yeah. I don't know why they don't. Seems like malicious sort of oversight. Yeah, it should if the cable's going to identify it, you know. What's really nice is the Magewell drivers for that capture card show you in the main driver page what the USB connection speed is, because it really matters. I was confused at first because I thought there was something wrong with my hardware again with the capture stuff because I was capturing RetroTink 4K, and over 2.0 it still showed 4K, but it was at like 1 frame every 3 seconds, and I was like, oh no, what's broken now? But then I opened the drivers and saw that it registered as USB 2.0, which, not good. So, I don't know. Kind of nice to know that I could frame grab, like, USB 2.0 4K data, but I still don't really want to. So, yeah. That capture card is awesome, though. If anyone was thinking, like, do I want the only USB 4K 6444 capture card on the market, and you've been hemming and hawing over it, it's worth the haw. Shelby definitely needs a holiday. Probably. I didn't stop making videos during the actual holidays, so I kind of just delayed it. Usually what I do is I wait until there's a video game that I really want to play, and then I work up a buffer for that video game release, and then I play that game and coast through the buffer, but there's been no games I wanted for over a whole year now, so it's like I just haven't even done it. So... Anyway, yeah, should probably wrap this up. So I don't have anything else to do for right now. Can think of some games. I mean, yeah. Was Mario Kart the last one? That's not like a game I actually wanted to play. That's different. That's just a game that I played. So we're talking something that's like big, like Factorio Space Age. Like that's something that I would have dedicated some time to. What was it? I just thought of it and then I forgot. Tears of the Kingdom, before I knew it sucked, because like no one knew it sucked until you played through it. So yeah, that was probably the last one before that. And that one was 2023. So yeah, I guess I'm on an average of like every 2 years. That's healthy. All right, let's wrap this up. Oh, I could click a button and I could have the workbench be the thing that's in frame already. Yay, buttons! All right. Well, Bass Pro Fishing 2. Yeah, I'm never playing GoldenEye 64. There is no reason I would ever play that. It just sounds terrible. So, yeah. I mean, I guess maybe if there was a recomp that added real controls to it, but still, I'd probably just rather replay Turok. So, yeah. All right. I think it's time for the outro. Boom. You know, I just realized I don't actually have the server stuff open anywhere. I have no way of seeing the outro running right now. I just have my WebSocket controls for it. That's kind of funny. I didn't even think about that. Hold on, I'm launching my connection to the server. There we go. Yep, it's working correctly. All right. Well, GoldenEye 64 isn't the worst game ever. Well, no, but still, like, If I'm going to play a first-person shooter, it's not going to be that. All right, well, consider what we do tomorrow currently undecided. If I get on a kick of trying to recover data from SSDs, I may stay home and do that. So I don't know. So it's possible there'll be a stream of that, or maybe, wow, Helen Croft, that is brutal. That's a long time. Or maybe, I don't know, I might not, there's a slight chance I don't stream tomorrow if I'm still recovering data. Well, no matter what, I'm still going to be recovering data. If it doesn't seem like it would be that interesting, because in reality, it would be a just chatting stream where I can't show you all of what I'm doing, because I don't necessarily want to leak projects that weren't done. So, yeah. Because you think it's bad enough how much people ask me when they know about videos I'm working on? Oh, imagine if they knew about videos that they didn't know about that I was working on. So, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, because I definitely need to spend a bunch of time on that. So, yeah. Recover data while playing something. That's maybe an option. I'm not really feeling it right now, though. So, yeah. I actually haven't been playing any games recently, so that's probably a problem. I should do that. I've been 1401 restoration video when I get a new office, then I can take it out of storage. All right, that's it for now. If you guys enjoyed this stream, you might want to follow to be notified when I go live again next. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon or get a shirt like this one. But that's it for now, and I will see you next time. And boom, there's the wave.